Hey everybody, Jeff here,
Megan.
and we're back with another video. This time we're doing an initial impressions look at Hamsterdam from Sporktopia Games that will be coming to Kickstarter very soon. It's a 2 to 4 player game, plays in about 30 minutes or less, and it's basically you're protecting your dam with hamsters. So your dam is taking on water, holes are coming in, and you're using your hamsters to plug those holes. It's cards and dice. So you get a 2d6, you get a bunch of cards. You get cards that represent in numeric form that you'll see played behind us that are from 2 to 12. And then you get hamsters to put on your dam. However, you get to distribute those however you want. And then you just try to stop the flood from coming in off of the rolls from the 2d6. In the start, it changes a little bit because everybody starts with their cards from 2 to 12, but you pass cards. I believe in a 3 and 4 player game, I think you pass one to the left, one to the right, or maybe it's both.
Mm.
But you basically are passing 2 cards out of your hand and then taking 2 cards from somebody else. So your number distribution is going to be a little bit different. And then you get to arrange that dam in any order that you want, those numbers in any order that you want. And again, the circles on them. So the orange circles, you're going to get regular hamsters. And if you have any blue circles, you get special hamsters for those. And then once you collect all your hamsters, you get to put them on your dam however you want to protect it. So again, dice probably, you have a 7 on a 2d6. Seven's probably going to come up a little bit more. You might want to put a few more hamsters on there, and maybe you leave the 12 undefended this time because you think the 12 is not going to come up that often, something like that. Again, you defend. It's every 2 turns in a 2 player game. You get to move a hamster if you want to try to stop some of the flooding that's coming in, and then every rounds, I guess he calls it 6 rounds. So 12 rolls of the dice, basically. You get to get back any hamsters that you've had to use to reinforce to make sure that your dam doesn't flood. You get to put those back out again any way you want to. You can spend a hamster if you want to get rid of a flood that's still on the board, but that hamster gets completely removed from the game. So you're going to have less hamsters to help you as the game progresses. In a 2 player game, once collectively 10 flood tokens have gotten through your dam, again collectively. So if I have 5 and Megan has 5 tokens, that ends the game. But that'll end the game. Then whoever has the least amount of flood tokens is the one that was successful in stopping the flood coming through, and the winner. The art on it is from Alicia Volkman, a friend of ours, and somebody that I've worked with for artwork as well. So I might be a little bit biased there, but I do think the hamster art is very cute. I know she spent a lot of time drawing a lot of different hamsters, and you get to see them in here. The only thing for me is like I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get more special hamsters because
Mm-hmm.
we only saw so many, like a couple every turn between each other every time we played. So, initial thoughts for Amsterdam
Well,
from
once
Megan.
we played it correctly,
Yes.
it was much better.
The
Um,
rule book does need a little bit of work, but I know they are working on it, and there actually is a draft out there for us to check out that has is cleaner than the rule book that came with this one. So they are looking at and refining the draft book like the rule book like most projects do going into Kickstarter. They're still refining the rule book. So that is being addressed.
that and the fact that we exchanged the same numbers the first game,
Yeah, that didn't
so
help.
that made it last a little
When
longer.
you're together for so long.
But overall, it's a cute game. It's dice rolling and probability, so I like it. The artwork is adorable. The initial game was hard just because, like I said, we played it
Yeah.
incorrectly, and then exchanging the same numbers was bad.
On top
Um,
of not playing
yeah.
correctly, yeah.
The second game, because once you have, like, when you're forced to have 2 10s and you get a bad roll,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're flooding in 2 areas, and I think that's what led to me winning the second game.
Yeah, you handedly beat me the second game. We were pretty close on the wrong game,
Yeah.
but but yeah, you handedly beat me on the second game. So it is some interesting choices. I think they do have in the rule book, if I remember right, like if you want to play with younger people and stuff, you may not use the abilities. You may just use regular hamsters. The other thing is they say you can just like put the numbers in order if you don't want to mess around with that with like a younger crowd or something like that. But I think to me that's one of the interesting things too, about being able to put out your dam in an order that you want to. You start losing cards and you start kind of shrinking down, but at the same time, like the game that we're playing in the video, like I think I threw my 7 on the outer edge, so it was one of the first cards I lost. That way, the next time around when 7s started coming through, I wasn't being affected by the 7s anymore, because I in the game prior to that, I was constantly having to throw like a ton of hamsters on my 7 every time we got to put hamsters back in. And so I just thought that next game is like, all right, well, I'm going to use those hamsters somewhere else. If I got to lose something, I'll drop off the 7. Um, some of the special abilities are pretty cool. There's a couple of them we still question what their uses for, that we've played with, but there's a good stack of special ability hamsters versus the normal hamsters. So there's a lot of things that you can kind of play through there, and every time you replay, you're going to see some different abilities and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot of different things that you can do. I think that second game you really enjoyed one of your characters beating me up with it, one of your special hamsters. So yeah, I mean it's a pretty straightforward game. I think this is a good one, especially with kids, even if you do use the abilities and stuff. If you want to have that conversation about probability,
Mm-hmm.
And things coming up, even down to, again, simple math. You're adding together 2d6. What is that? Who does that affect? That kind of thing. So just starting to see some of those things, and I don't. Again, up to you. If you use the special abilities or not with the younger crowd. I don't think they're too drastic. I think once you kind of start understanding them, or if you explain what their special abilities do for their hamsters, it'll work out pretty well. So yeah, for a younger crowd. Now, hardcore gamers, I'm gonna say probably not. Um, so I mean, your decisions are down to where you place your hamsters and how you use your special abilities. But once you've kind of and potentially moving them around to help kind of eliminate flooding coming through. But beyond that, you're pretty much however the dice come up is how the dice come up, and you just kind of are shedding hamsters here and there. So for somebody that's just a hardcore gamer, that they really just want to think out from beginning to end how they're playing, they don't want any randomness involved or any of that kind of stuff, maybe not. But I think, again, for younger to casual gamers, again, especially when we play it correctly, this is a pretty quick, fast game that you can kind of have some fun with and knock out. And again, like I said, we enjoyed the art, we enjoyed some of the special ability hamsters and stuff like that. So I think as long as you're not playing with a completely hardcore gamer group, this could be a decent game to have. Again, this could be a filler. This could be a end of the night, start of the night. You're still waiting for somebody kind of game. And again, with us, we like to think about our nieces and nephews when they come over. This is something I think we could easily play with them. So yeah, definitely check it out when it hits Kickstarter. Anything else you want to say?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. All right. What do you think of the nieces and nephews angle? You usually weigh in on that?
Yeah, it's depending on the age. I think the younger ones, they're just not into dice probability yet. Um, I was thinking more of like if you're trying to teach dice probability,
Mhm.
like I would have liked to have had this like in my 6th grade math class,
Oh, there you
or
go.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
where you're learning those concepts, and it's just a fun way to learn those
Mhm.
probability and statistics. So actually, that's from that aspect, but I think that's more
Not
teenager.
okay. All right. So there you go. Again, Hamsterdam from Sporktopia Games. It'll be coming to Kickstarter very soon. Look for it, check it out, and back if it looks like something that interests you. Thanks. We'll be back soon.